Hi everyone, my name is Wendy and this channel is called Wendy's Parade of Perfumes. Here on my channel I just talk about the perfume that I have on my shelf and what I've been wearing and what I've been thinking about and what I've been doing perfume wise. And I would like to talk about some spicy perfumes today because I have just been loving the dark stuff. It finally is cold enough to enjoy that, and I don't think I've ever done just like a spicy perfume list before. Now, a lot of my perfumes are vintage or old or discontinued or possibly available but maybe reformulated, that sort of thing. And with that, let's get started on the categories. We have niche, we have vintage, we have designer, we have it all. And I think I'll just start with designer. One perfume that I've had on my shelf for a long time, and the bottle is starting to get worn out. Sorry about that. This is Sensuous from Estee Lauder. I just love this one. It still smells so good. This maybe could even be considered vintage. It came out almost 20 years ago, I think in 2007 or something. Anyway, this is a woody white floral that has dustings of spices and cinnamon and honey all over it. And there's a really strong woody sandalwoodish base. But this perfume, it's just so lovely to wear. And despite it being like spicy and woody, there's enough sweetness and enough florality to it that I do actually find this to be really feminine, but just one of those like sultry, spicy, feminine perfumes. I have a very old review on this. One of my reviews I did like years ago, so be forewarned if you decide to look up a full review on this. But I really think that this is a lovely, woody, spicy perfume that's just great for the fall and very inexpensive right now. It seems to go on and off the market, but on the gray market, this is still like $35, $40, which basically nowadays that's like, pennies on the dollar. So that was Estee Lauder Sensuous. Another fantastic spicy designer perfume is one of the L'Entredies from Givenchy. This is the first flanker of this one. This is one of the red flankers, the Eau de Parfum Rouge. I absolutely adore this. This is so wonderful to wear. Now, this is almost textured. It's like it has ginger and it has a very dark blood orange and it has white flowers, but it's spicy, but it like projects this heat. It's like the red, it's like this firecracker of a perfume. The ginger and the blood orange are just amazing, and they're draped over the tuberose and jasmine, and it smells so good. The tuberose is smooth white floral. It's not bubblegummy. This is not a bubblegummy tuberose. It's just white flower tuberose. And this dries down and it has a lot of vetiver and patchouli in it. And I almost feel like it feels a little chocolatey. I don't know, the patchouli can sometimes smell a little chocolatey, but I got a little hint. But what really gets me is just how warm and just it's just like a warm and soft perfume while still being real spicy. The ginger just what a wonderful snap that ginger gives. But I really love this spicy perfume and I think you should test it. That is the Rouge version of L'Entrée from Givenchy. Uh, I know. I like this so much that I've like been looking at the Ultime version. I'm like, I can at least test it out. That's at Ulta. I should be able to test it. That should be. I don't have to just go blind by it. Well, I have I think one more designer. This is one of the giant tumblers of Boucheron. This is Rose d'Esparta. And if you could tell by the name, this is a spicy rose perfume. And the more I wear this, the more I really, really like it. Now, the spices in here are, there's some saffron, and this is another gingery perfume. So there's like spicy saffron, and there's a lot of ginger, and it's embedded in this very beautiful incensey ambrette that just smolders around the rose. Very rose heavy. I must admit, when this dries down, those spices and the incense kind of wear off, and this gets rather ambery. It kind of turns into a sweet rose amber, but that's okay. I like it. I like this perfume a lot. And these bottles are gigantic if you're into the whole perfume tumbler thing, and they're definitely discontinued. I don't know if they have gotten to that point of being discontinued where they're still cheap or people are being obnoxious about the price, but this is, if you like spicy roses with a nice hit of incense and an amber base, I would recommend Rose de Sparta from Boucheron. Oh, and I'm never going to finish this. Look at how big this is. It's huge. It's enormous. But yeah, ginger saffron incense is just a really nice perfume. Okay, let's do, speaking of ginger, let's just continue on the ginger train and we will do some niche. This is 5 o'clock Eau Gingembre from Serge Lutens. And this perfume is very atmospheric and it's a lot of fun. This is, the other gingers are spicy. They're like spicy gingers. This is not a bakery ginger. It doesn't smell like a ginger snap cookie. It smells like a hard ginger candy. So it is, while it's gingery, it's really smoothed out. It smells like ginger ale with ginger candies inside of it, along with black tea and spices. So it smells very like indoorsy. So you have black tea, you have spices, you have the ginger candy, the smooth ginger candy, you have a bit of incense. So that is all going on inside. But yet, for some reason, I like to wear 5 o'clock Eau Gingembre when I'm outside walking the dog. This is just a nice, I don't know, it just wears nicely outside, yet it reminds me of an indoor scene. So if you are into the combination of black tea and incense with some spices and ginger, I would check this out. I think this is still available. I don't think that they've banished this to the Bell jars yet. So, and this is even the newer edition bottle. I don't have the old one. No, that is 5 o'clock ginger time by Serge Lutens. Okay, this, I feel like people don't talk about this company very much. This is from Parfums de Nicolai, and this is Ambre Cashmere Intense. And the name is pretty straightforward. This is an amber perfume, but on the top, plus they've recently, all my bottles are 1 ounce in these little squares, and they've recently changed the shape of, I guess this is technically a rectangle, but they've made the rectangles a different shape, and now I'm like, but they all match. You know how you do that? They're all the same size. They all match. Don't do that. Don't mess it up. Anyway, I digress. Ambre Cashmere Intense is a wonderful amber perfume that I really love to wear in the fall. But the greatest thing about this is it has black pepper and iris. And the black pepper just coats the iris just beautifully. It's such a lovely combination. And then the pepper really stays down into the dry down. So it's like this peppery, smooth amber that has a lot of vanilla in it too. So the pepper it's just all over the perfume. It's really, really nice. Along with being, yes, when it dries down, it mostly turns into amber. But yes, this is a spicy amber iris fragrance, and it's really well done too. I think you guys should check it out if you can. That is Ambre Cashmere. You know, I like this so much that I haven't used it a ton, but it's because I'm afraid to wear it. I feel like I need to get a backup, which is insane. Insane thoughts. Everyone needs a slightly spicy vanilla. And for a spicy vanilla, I picked Nuit at Confidences from Annick Goutal. And this is another peppered perfume. This also has a lot of bright bergamot in it, and it dries down to be like a woody vanilla. But to me, this is like, there's a lot of incense in here. And incense isn't necessarily a spice, but incense can like smell spicy. So this is like a vanilla incense with a lot of pepper, but the bergamot makes it so it's not quite so heavy, and it's like has a little bit of like a sparkling champagne effect along with the pepper and the incense. And this is mostly like in the top half of the perfume. This definitely does. The pepper goes away, the bergamot goes away, the incense goes away, and this dries down to mostly a woody vanilla. But for that hour or two that the top and mid notes are going strong, this is rather spicy and rather aromatic and rather incensey. And that is Nuit at Confidences from Annick Goutal, or just Goutal nowadays. So this is a little bit of a bougie perfume. I did not pay full price for this, but this is Epic from Amouage. I like Epic so much that I have the Eau de Parfum, and I searched and searched and searched for this to not be the $500 that it was. I'm not saying this was cheap, but I spent a lot less than that. I spent like half that price. Anyway, Amouage Epic, if you don't like spicy roses, like don't even bother. But this definitely is a kitchen sink spicy perfume. I mean, the spices are like, there's cumin and there's caraway and there's incense, and they do not shy away from everything. There's pink pepper. There is loads and loads and loads of pink pepper. And even though pink pepper, it mostly kind of smells rosy, I feel like there's so much in here that it just verges on being spicy. Like every ingredient that they put in here just adds to the spice level. Along with obviously the rose is the focus, so this is a spicy rose. But and then it just dries down into this wonderful set of woods. The good news is that I like this just as much as I like the Eau de Parfum, so I do not feel like the 56 blows the other one out of the water. For anyone that likes the regular Eau de Parfum, I do feel like that's enough. That this isn't so much better that you need to spend the money, but I did and I don't regret it at all. But I love this so much. This is one of the best spicy roses ever. And it wears me and it is not shy. It is what it is, and it's unapologetic, and it's a beautiful, rosy, spicy ball of everything that is Amouage Epic. All right, let's do some vintages, shall we? A real spicy vintage, and this perfume's history is like so complicated that I can barely keep up with it, and I can't even get into it that hard, but this is Rochas Femme, which the original Rochas Femme came out in the 1940s, and it's a fruity chypre. It has always been a fruity chypre, but the 1940s version, and I have a pre-reformulation, but obviously it's not 75 years old, but that is like a dark peachy, but mostly plum. The plum is the fruity note, with a lot of like dark notes like civet and vetiver and sandalwood and a pinch of leather and stuff like that. So it's a super dark femme fatale floral of chypre, a fruity floral chypre. Emphasis on the dark though. That's what that started out as. In 1989, which at this point is still a hot minute ago, they reformulated it. And instead of using like, civet and really dark stuff, they put in cumin instead to make up for it, which is going to be very contentious and not everyone's going to like that. And I understand that. That's okay. We all like what we like and we all dislike things too, and that's okay. But that was the big change, is that they went from a plum chypre to a peach chypre, and instead of having like dark notes that, are frankly dirty, and you can't even, I mean, when was the last time civet was used in perfumes? And rightly so, we don't want that stuff in our perfumes anymore. But in order to make it like darker and dirty, they kind of put more cumin in here. Anyway, if you haven't noticed by now, this is a fruity chypre, and the ones made after 1989 have a big, strong hit of not just cumin though. There is clove, there is cinnamon, there are dark spices, and it's very cuminy. But I have several bottles of this, and it really depends on what bottle you have. I have one bottle that is like a cumin bomb, and while I like that, I am afraid to wear it in public, so I don't. Now, this bottle is from a time where the company was still owned by Rochas. It was not bought out by Procter and Gamble or Inter Parfums or whoever else yet. So while this is the new reformulated one, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I'm sorry, but this perfume has such a complicated history that I feel like I need to talk about it before I just say what it smells like. Anyway, as usual, the original perfume, even if it's Lauder, it's actually a little bit easier to wear. It's like they did the difficult notes better. They were better at doing the cumin. They were better at doing the dark notes versus like the reformulations. Sometimes they just get sloppy and they don't smell right. It's like you can have these difficult notes in these perfume, but if the composition is done correctly, they'll be nice to wear. For not everybody, but do you know what I mean though? But I could smell sometimes when things get reformulated, and it's not even that they're weaker or whatever, but it just doesn't smell right. They get screwed up because it's getting hard to, we don't use a lot of those dark notes anymore, and maybe they're just, I don't know, people have a hard time using them, or they're being cheap. I don't know. I find that the reformulated Rochas from the original perfume company, it's almost as, it's like, so it's a little cuminy, and it's definitely spicy. It has a very strong spicy background, but it's not overwhelming and it's not dirty. And the peach and the rose and the jasmine and the iris are really lovely. And this perfume also has a lot of rosewood in it, which is really stunning, especially the iris and rosewood combination. It's really, really pretty. But yeah, this is a spicy floral chypre that has a hit of darkness. And buyer beware. This is not going to be for everybody. I really enjoy wearing this though. And I have older bottles that are easier to wear. I have the bottles in the mid-range that still have amazing parts in them. Like the rosewood is really strong and the iris is really strong and the spices are really strong. But, you know, for 2025, I cannot wear like a massive cumin bomb in public. I can wear a subdued perfume that has a cumin note in it, but I can't wear anything like that. Like even just to go to Target or something, like I can't do that. So does anyone else like Rochas Femme? Because I really like this perfume. It's just like warm and spicy and it's really complicated. And it's one of those kitchen sink perfumes. I really like them. I should probably try to do a regular review on this one day, but spicy vintage, Rochas Femme. Just has everything. I didn't even name half the notes in that perfume. It's such a complicated perfume. See, I have, oh, and I wanted to say this too, like this old perfume is an eau de parfum and it's less strong than the Interparfums Eau de Toilette, which is the company that took them over and reformulated them. And this is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It smells really good. It has great parts to it, but the Eau de Toilette is actually Lauder. So that's what I mean. You just don't know what you're going to get with all these reformulations. There's no consistency. Speaking of reformulations, I'm going to talk about Coco Eau de Parfum from Chanel. I have older bottles of Coco that they are spicy. This is clove and cinnamon and sandalwood and chocolate and just, it is, and you know, dark stewed oranges and just dark and, you know, long black velvet gown level of dark and spicy and strong. This was 1984, and in the 80s, they were not afraid to make extremely strong perfumes. And I have, I don't know if I have 80s Chanel Coco, but I have older bottles of Chanel Coco, and that is another one. I love this perfume, but I feel a little self-conscious wearing it because it is so strong. I mean, maybe I could put 2 sprays on and like 8 hours later then leave the house, and then I wouldn't feel so like, I don't want to like punch anybody in the face with my perfume. So which brings me to this bottle, which is only a few years old, and it's a reformulation. It's definitely reformulated. And I like this though, and I'll tell you why. The reformulation of Coco is easier to wear. For people that are used to the way Coco used to smell, yeah, absolutely. This is not what the way this used to smell. However, when I wear this, it doesn't smell wrong. It doesn't smell off. And it is unmistakably Coco. Like everything is there. Instead of it being cranked up to 11, 1984 style, we have it right at like a mid-simmer. It is 4 to 5. So if you like Coco and maybe you smelled it 10 years ago and you think it's a little too much, they've reformulated it and it's no longer too much. It still has good lasting power. It's not like it just goes away in an hour or anything like that, and you know, 2 to 3 sprays is plenty. You don't need to wear a ton. It's not ruined in that way, but yeah, the spices are toned down. The florals are not as loud. The woods are not so punchy. The fruits are not so stewed, and just everything about it is just a little bit quieter, but it's still a very beautiful, dark, spicy floral perfume with a really good sandalwood and vetiver dry down. And most people have at least smelled Coco. This has been around for a long time, but to me, this is like the wearable Coco. And yeah, this is really pretty. That being said though, again, it's like I subject my dog to all these perfumes because I'll be like, let's go walk, you know, I'll just put these crazy perfumes on and go walk the dog. When it's freezing cold out, I love wearing vintage Coco. It just smells so good and it's just so warming in the cold, and it just smells really good. But anyway, classic spicy floral. Now more wearable. That is Coco from Chanel. And again, I don't even have the Eau de Toilette. This is the Eau de Parfum. And it's just not nearly as strong as it used to be. Okay, another vintage. This is Rouge from Hermes. This perfume is so pretty. This is also from the 80s and right around the same time as Coco, but this is not as strong. This used to be called Parfum d'Hermes, and this is the reissue, which is Rouge by Hermes. Okay, so this kind of smells like a slightly spicy version of Samsara. If Samsara was married to Nahima because this is really, really rosy. There's a lot of ylang ylang, and there's a lot of rose, and there's a lot of jasmine, and there's a lot of iris. But where Samsara tends to be jasmine and iris focused, this perfume is rose and ylang ylang focused. And some versions of Samsara too have a lot of ylang ylang. I'm not saying that it's not there, but this though it wears quietly, and the spices are very smooth, and it's just a really lovely spicy woody rose that almost has like a slight candied effect. For some reason it reminds me of like just Christmas candy. Something about it. I don't know. Has everybody ever smelled this? This is a really gorgeous perfume. You know, Hermes they have such respect for their catalog. Even if stuff gets reformulated, it happens. But I feel like they do a very good job of maintaining the integrity of their perfumes. Anyway, if you want a spicy Samsara that went to the prom with Nahima, check out Rouge from Hermes. Okay, we're on the last one. I didn't expect to take 20 minutes today. I got a little rambly on some of this stuff. This is an old perfume from Houbigant called Apercu. Oh, that'll say it right there. This perfume came out in 1925 originally. So we're talking like Mitsuko era, old style Fruity Chypre. And for some reason in the year 2000, they decided to re-release this. And I have no idea what the old one smells like, but even in 2000, I mean, this is a very dark, woody, spicy, fruity Chypre. But the way it wears, it doesn't wear strong. I don't want to say it doesn't wear strong. It's not weak or anything, but it's not overwhelming to wear. You can wear it in public. You're not going to like be like, you know, inappropriate. You know, you're not going to have an offensive scent bubble around you that people are going to be like, what is that person doing? All right, so what this smells like a lovely, like almost apple cider, like green apple bergamot with a lot of clove and a lot of cinnamon and a lot of just generalized spiciness with a dark geranium and rose and jasmine. And it dries down into like a spicy sanded oak moss and sandalwood. So the clove and the cinnamon and the spices, like they never go away. They have that really pretty apple top note. It doesn't even say that it has apples in this, but to me, like the geranium and the bergamot and the lemon, they just all combine together to smell like this really beautiful green apple cider on a bed of flowers. Beautiful, beautiful geranium and rose and iris. And I don't know, maybe this smells irisy to me because it's earthy. I don't know if this has an iris note in it or not. But, and then, like I said, the dry down, real sandalwood, very, very oak mossy. This is a true Chypre. In the year 2000, they still put oak moss in perfumes. So this is a mossy, woody, fruity, floral Chypre. That's a lot. But the way this wears, though, this wears just like, it just wears quietly. It's like a nice fall walk in the woods, you know. Maybe you can hear the leaves crunching and maybe it's a little windy out, but there's nothing loud about it. There's nothing screaming or frenetic about it. It's just a really quiet, contemplative Chypre. And while I don't wear Chypres all the time, I really feel like in my heart they're like my favorite perfume group because when I wear them, I just feel so settled in my soul. And people that love those old school Chypres with the real oak moss, you guys know what I'm talking about. This does smell a little bit like Mitsuko, just a little bit, and it does smell a little bit like Aromatic's Elixir, just a little bit, but it's more like they exist within the same solar system. It doesn't mean that one is a dupe for the other. It's just in that category. But yeah, this is just a lovely, elegant, woody, fruity Chypre that is spicy. It's a spicy Chypre too. And that's where I'm going to end, is on Apercu. Sorry, I got all my, there's just a lot of, I feel like spicy perfumes were a little bit more of an older thing. I don't know that they're really putting out a lot of spicy perfumes right now. I think that's why I was so excited to find this. I haven't smelled a designer perfume like this in a long time, at least as far as like the spice level goes. So those of you who stuck with me through all that rambling, I know I got really off track on Rochas Femme. I'm so sorry. Let me know what your favorite spicy perfumes are, or even just what you've been wearing, or you can just say hi. What do you think of any of these? Have you tried them? I love to know what people's opinions are and what their experiences are with perfume. Even if you don't like it or if it's different from mine, I still like to hear what people interpret things as. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and thank you for being here, my friends. And I will speak to you next time. Bye bye.